what's some things that a truckpreneur can do to ensure that they're on point with their fuel payment?
As far as the fuel, man, just make sure you're staying on point with it. When your dispatcher books your driver a load, we need to know that route. We need to know the cheapest fuel that's en route. And we need to know, hey, is this on our network of fuel companies? Am I with Pilot and Flying J? Am I with Loves? Am I with a fuel representative or a fuel card where I can get fuel from any station, long as it's in their network?
Gene family, we're back with another episode from Q with Priceless Regime.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's D Lee here with Priceless Regime. Welcome back to another episode.
Gotcha. Let's get straight into it, man. Let's get straight into it. So today's topic, we're going to be speaking on the weekly and monthly expenses. Been getting a lot of questions on, what are my monthly, what are my weekly, what are my daily expenses, and we just really want to go over like your top 6 expenses that you're going to have on a weekly and monthly basis. So number one of your main expenses is going to be fuel. Number 2, your other expenses are going to be your dispatching and management fees. 3 is going to be like your driver pay. 4 is going to be your insurance. 5 is going to be your equipment, meaning your tractor or trailer payment. And number 6 is going to be your miscellaneous things. So what we want to do today is really just dive deep into those 6 expenses, because we want you aspiring truckpreneurs or existing truckpreneurs to understand, how you need to set yourself up to ensure that you're able to pay these expenses. So D Lee, like, what's some things that a truckpreneur can do to ensure that they're on point with their fuel payment?
As far as the fuel, man, just make sure you're staying on point with it. When your dispatcher books your driver a load, we need to know that route. We need to know the cheapest fuel that's en route. And we need to know, hey, is this on our network of fuel companies? Am I with Pilot and Flying J? Am I with Loves? Am I with a fuel representative or a fuel card where I can get fuel from any station, long as it's in their network? So if that's the case, we want to go ahead and plan out the trip just to see if, hey, if I get fuel from this station, will it veer me off my route a little bit too much, or will it not? How many miles? We just want to do some quick math to save on the amount of fuel that we're going to spend. We also want to check out the terrains, like where are we going? Is it going to be a lot of hills, a lot of mountains? We're going up and down. We need to know. We just need to know, because we need to know how much fuel that we're burning. We need to know how heavy this load is, because if it's a load where it's at capacity, it's 48,000, you have to know taking that up and down hill is going to burn more fuel. So it all comes down just to trip planning, so you can actually know your numbers on what you're looking like to spend the fuel.
Gotcha. And something I just want to add to, when it comes to, your weekly fuel expense, my rule of thumb is to always have 1 month worth of fuel payment saved up. And that's just my rule of thumb when it comes to fuel. When it comes to the driver pay, my rule of thumb is to have 1 month worth of driver payment saved up as well. When it comes to your dispatching and your management fees, 1 month of those payments saved up as well. And you want to keep those in your reserves. And the reason is because you don't want to get into a sticky situation where those ongoing expenses are causing your company to go in the red. So for those 3 main expenses, you want to have 1 month worth of payment saved up in your reserve account. When it comes to your insurance, your truck and trailer notes, of course, those are monthly expenses, but my rule of thumb is you want to ensure that you have that money set aside on a weekly basis. So for example, if your insurance payments are, let's just say $2,000 a month, what you want to do is you want to put away $500 a week. So out of all the loads that you deliver that week, $500 a week should go towards your insurance payments, which is ideally, or if your insurance payment is $2,000 a month. So you want to just ensure that you're just budgeting correctly, ensure that your money management skills are on point when it comes to those weekly and monthly expenses. And you want to handle the same type things when it comes to your tractor and trailer payments. So D Lee, I want to roll into one of my favorite segments of the show. I want to talk about just the trucking horror stories. So do you got any horror stories that may relate to fuel, driver pay, insurance, truck and trailer payment, or even miscellaneous payments?
Yeah, man, that's a good one. But we'll just stick with the fuel, man. I'll tell you a horror story about a driver who was getting fuel, right? He was fueling up, he's fueling, the tractor and he's getting the DEF and he's also fueling the reefer trailer. But he was also on the side going in truck stations, actually getting out cash advances also. So with him getting the cash advances, like extra money, but if you don't check out your fuel statements, just paying attention to what's going on, you may not know that, hey, transactions are happening which are costing you money, but it's going under the radar because you're not checking out your transaction. So every time this driver would decide, he's going to fuel up the tractor, get a DEF, and fuel up the reefer trailer, he was also thinking, hey, I can squeeze out $100, $200, cash advances with it without anybody knowing, and which he can now just whatever he wants to do with it as far as putting in his pockets or do whatever it is that he may want to do that, he can get away with it. But the biggest thing is you have to check your fuel stations and you have to check your fuel receipts and your statements because you need to know where your money is going. You can't be lackadaisical in this business because if you are, it'll cost you. That'll be a costly expense. You have to understand if a driver is filling up again fuel every 2 to 3 days, that's an extra $100 or $200 he's taking out that you have to pay for. If you do the math on that, that adds up weekly and monthly to another expense, which that could be in your pocket if you just would check your fuel receipts, your fuel statements, and also if you would have just helped mapped out your pre-planning your trip or where your driver was going, you would have noticed that as well. Like, hey, fuel is not this expensive, something not adding up on my fuel statement.
Gotcha. Now that's definitely a point there with staying on top of your fuel statements and your fuel receipts, especially when you're a fleet owner, because you're new in this industry. A lot of the transactions they're probably coming in fast. You're probably spending $1,000, $1,500, $1,800 in fuel a week. So you may not understand, what that driver was doing. You may think that's normal protocols, but that's where you have to insert yourself in your business and really understand, what's going on. I'm gonna go a little different, man, with my trucking horror story, and is more so focused on the reserves. So I give you guys an example. This happened probably about a year ago. Basically, it was a winter storm, and the driver actually delivering a load. He was delivering a load, I think, to like Texas or something like that. And basically, the owner had very small, very very slim reserves in his account. It was very slim reserves in regards to fuel. Basically, what happened is the driver was supposed to drop off on Thursday. There was a storm in the area. It was like a snowstorm, winter storm in the area. So the driver had to actually supposed to drop off Friday. Come to find out that the shipper was closed on that Friday. So the driver had to stay in that area to Tuesday in order to drop that load off because he was on the live load. And basically that set the owner back probably a lot on the finance side because the owner was expecting to drop that load off on Thursday, get paid like Friday or Monday so he can pay his fuel payment on Tuesday. It didn't go that way. It did not go that way. The driver, just dropped the load off on that Tuesday and the fuel payment was due on that Tuesday. So it put the owner in a bind. And that's what I really wanted to focus on is to ensure that you have that 1 month worth of expenses, especially on the fuel side, saved up. Gotta have that because you will, find yourself in sticky situations. We're in the logistics business. When it comes to logistics, there's always something. It's always something. So as a fleet owner, you want to just ensure you're putting yourself in the best predicament and setting yourself up for success. So that's my trucking horror story today. And we appreciate everyone for checking out our podcast. D-Lee, any closing remarks for you today?
Yeah, man. Just appreciate everybody checking it out and stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to continue to give you all just knowledge, game, and of course, horror stories. So tune in.
Gotcha. We appreciate everybody for checking in. See you guys next episode.